Gilakesla, Iki Gigame, Victor Conanas, Gilakesla, Hamas Lokotla, Gakakus, Gilakesla, Luquanian, Lo Hosene, Tawina Brisses, Luquan Gustiras, Hamzas Lanabam, Gairishanaha Quagus, Lamlekla, Namgis, Klausin, Montague, Gairishanaha Quakwak. So I've just repeated the same intro that I gave at the beginning of this course. What I've said is my Indian name is Gustidas, my English name is Matthew Andrews, my mother is Hamzas, and I'm from the Quagyuth, the Mamalekla, the Namgis, the Klausin, and the Montague, 5 different tribes of the Quakwak. The name of my presentation is Quakwak Songs, Stories, and Dances, Kum Dum, Ninayum, and Yahwa. What I'm going to be sharing is a series of songs, dances, and stories from the Namgis. So we have a order of ranking in our Quakwak nation. The Namgis are the 3rd tribe, and each tribe among the Quakwak is divided up into clans. The Namgis at one point had 10 clans, we're now down to 4. The Zidath Walagamai, the Gilgogum, the Sisantlai, and the Ninochinuk. The story I'm going to share today is from the Zidath Walagamai, but it also has connections to the Gilgogum, which is the clan that my family comes from. So before I begin, I should say first that everything that I'm about to share was at one point illegal. From 1885 to 1951, all forms of songs, dances, and stories were illegal during the Pollock's Prohibition. So the story is, as I said, a Zidath Walagamai story. So there was a warrior. He was a good-hearted, good-spirited warrior, always took care of his people. And he had a wife, a beautiful wife. She was known up and down the coast for her beauty. And one day this wife was, during the night, she went to fetch water down by the river. When she was stolen, she was kidnapped by the Mamkhinuk, the killer whales. The killer whales wanted her because of her beauty. And so the killer whales took her, and they say the house of the killer whales is 4 days of paddling out towards the ocean. And so this next day, when the wife had been kidnapped, this warrior was so distraught, he didn't know what to do. He was panicking of what to do, so he just started asking anybody if they had seen who had stolen his wife. Finally, it was a sea monster such as this one here, who said there was a huge school of sea monsters, but there was one specific sea monster that told him that, it was the Mamkin who had stolen her. And so this warrior, he thanked the sea monster, and he just started paddling. And he didn't know where he was going, he just started paddling because he was so distraught looking for his wife. Eventually, the moon, Mukula, was watching all of this unfold, and he didn't like what was happening because he saw that warrior was a good man. So during the night, the moon shined a path on the water, a path of light. That path led all the way to the house of the Mamkinuk. And so this warrior paddled for 4 days to this house. And during the night, he kidnapped his wife back and paddled back to their village at Khok, the main village of the Namgis. And on the way back, again, the moon shined a path on the water. And the next day, after the wife had been taken from the Mamkinuk, they were so angry. They were so angry, and they were looking to get whoever had told on them, who had sold them out. So if you watch killer whales when they hunt in the wild, sometimes they'll just smash whatever they're hunting with their skulls to weaken it. So these Mamkinuk went and they started asking anybody who had told on them. Finally, it was a tlachan, a sea lion. He said, it was one of those sea monsters. And they named the specific sea monster. So these school of killer whales went and they singled out this sea monster, and they just started attacking him. And they attacked him so much that he was just little particles floating in the water, and they killed him. And so while all this was going on, the Ikigigame, the creator up above, saw what was going on and he didn't like it. So he sent the costume of Konusila. The costume of Konusila was a thunderbird, such as you see in this video. Yeah, so a thunderbird such as that, the costume of Konusila comes from the Gigogum, as I said, my clan. And but one day it was thrown up into the heavens and it was to never take form again. But Ikigigame, the creator, said, "You're going to take form one last time." So he sent the costume of Konusila down to our world. And Konusila's costume just started picking up the pieces. And he tried to gather up all the pieces that he could find. But he couldn't find them all. Some had drifted away. So this sea monster, which was once so massive, could only be reformed into a man. He had all the characteristics of a man, but he had a mouth that was as large as his face. You see, this is the bottom of a totem pole representing that man. And because of what that sea monster, who was now a man, so a sea monster man, what he had done, he was welcomed to join the clan of the Tzithoth Walagamagi. And the costume of Konusila went back up to heaven. And that's the end of the story. So now I'll share the point of this presentation is to show the connection between story, songs, and dance. For Kwakwakwa people, to have a right to a dance or a song, you need to have a story. And so with this story, the Tzithoth Walagamagi, the first clan of the Nungis, have the right to 3 different dances. Can anyone guess what those 3 dances are?
Nope.
The 3 dances were a princess dance for the wife, a moon dance for the moon, and a killer whale dance. And with that, because we have a princess dance, a killer whale dance, and a moon dance, it also means we need to have a song to go with each of those. So this is just a short clip of the killer whale dance. Next video is a clip of the moon dance. And that's my mom's moon dance being a dance. Now I'd just like to share a short song with the class. This song is a crane song, but there is a greater connection between the crane and the sea monster. So we actually also use this song for the sea monsters as well. Feel free to follow along with the words. Namo that was a Kwakwane song, but we also use it for the sea monster. So as I said, close to the beginning of the presentation, everything that I've just shared with you was illegal. These masks here were taken in 1921 at Dan Cranmer's College. The RCMP showed up and gave the people there attending the choice. You can give up your dancing regalia or go to jail. A lot of people chose to give up their dancing regalia, but about 20 people chose to go to jail. One of the people who went to jail was my great-great-aunt's husband, and when they went to Ocala prison, she actually waited outside the prison to help her husband who was in jail, and she actually died while he was in jail. But we've recovered a lot of the masks that were taken during the college prohibition. Here they are presented at the Umista Cultural Center in Alert Bay. So as you can probably guess, a lot was lost during the college prohibition. That cycle of stories, songs, and dances was disrupted, but thanks to the efforts of people like this is Franz Boas here, and this is George Hunt here, and I'm actually a descendant of George Hunt. But love him or hate him, you can't deny that they recorded hundreds and hundreds of stories, songs, and dances for the Kwakwaka'wakw. So we've been able to hold on to a lot thanks to them. And so one of the parts of this presentation was to acknowledge our sources. So this is my teacher here, William Wasden Jr. He goes by Wa, but most of my information comes from him. I should probably say how this has impacted me, because I was really excited for this presentation because this is just my life. This is what I do on a daily basis, a weekly basis. If you saw my notes, it would look kind of like this. This is just stuff I do all the time. So the opportunity to share this with the class was something I was really excited for. So much so that about 5 weeks ago, I even went to my teacher Wa and I told him the story back so that he could confirm that I was telling it right, so that I would be completely prepared for this presentation. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.